this time for ourselves. And if you feel the mind starts to wander back to that to-do list or back to a bad or negative conversation you had today with somebody, acknowledge the thought and then let it go and come back to your breath. And when you're ready, we'll start to take the head and the neck in our circles, drawing the chin across the chest and letting the back of the head roll along the shoulders. And if you find any spots that feel stuck or tight, or if that honking of the horn just scared the daylights out of you, just hold the stretch where you need the extra attention. And then when you're ready, you can start to make the circles in the other direction. And then we'll bring the head, after our last rotation, bring the head back to center. And just allow the left hand to drop down to your yoga mat. We'll inhale the right one all the way up and over. And we'll just start to pulse through that right side. Good, and let that right hand come all the way down and across onto the opposite leg. As we take the left one over, and we're just gonna hold this side. And then we'll allow that left arm to follow through. And we're gonna tuck the chin round the spine, open up the shoulders. Good, and then we'll just unroll ourselves, unwrap the arms, carry on to the other side as we let the right arm come down to the mat. Inhale the left, and just pulsing on the left side. Carry it through, send it all the way down to the right leg, and send the right arm over. We'll hold. Good, carry through. Same thing on this side, just letting the chin fall, rounding the spine. And then unraveling ourselves, but let's take the hands right to the back, interlacing the fingers, drawing the knuckles down, and we'll open up the chest. Good. We'll just let the hands come right in behind, bring the feet out in front for our windshield wiper legs. We'll let them fall to either side, whichever side is fine, and just take the head the opposite way. And switching sides when you're ready. Turning the head away from the knees. Awesome. Bringing them back to the center. I'm going to let the right leg come straight and leave the left one in on that inner thigh. Fingertips are going to come to the mat. We're just going to walk ourselves out over either side of that right leg. See if you can point the toes up to the sky so we just get that nice deep stretch through the back of the right leg. And then when you feel ready, if you feel ready, you can try to come down onto palms. Maybe fingertips is as far as we're going to go. Maybe we can come down a little bit farther or a little bit more towards the foot. Breathing into the back of the leg. Awesome. And slowly drawing yourself back up. Switching out the legs. Left one coming straight. Starting with our fingertips so we sit nice and tall and think about pushing that left foot up to the sky. And then walking yourself out. Thinking straight back. Breathing into the back of the leg. Coming down onto palms if that feels good. And then coming all the way back up. Good. Send both legs out. Give them a little shake. And we'll inhale the hands all the way up. And just nice, relaxed forward fold down. So toes can go out, knees can be bent, back can curve, head is heavy. Some nice deep breaths here. Nice calming breaths, letting the day be released. And then as we begin to draw ourselves back up, we're gonna bring the hands in behind and engage the legs this time. Point the toes, reverse plank, just lifting ourselves up off the mat. And lowering ourselves down. Nothing crazy. Awesome. All right, let's come on to all fours. And let's just keep the block handy so that we can reach for it if we need. Oh, do you want a block, Regan? You're okay? So we'll come into our table pose and we'll move right into our cat-cow at your own pace with your breath, inhaling and exhaling on whichever posture feels more natural for you. Tucking the chin, tucking the tailbone on your cat, and dropping your belly, raising the head on your cow. And once you've moved through a few cat-cows, we're gonna come back to our table pose and move into hovering table, which is our strengthening pose. So we just curl the toes under and bring the shins and the knees off the mat so they're just parallel with the ground. So to really get the benefits of this, you want to pull that belly button up and in. So up against the spine, and think of it tucking behind your ribs. And just holding as long as you can. And then when you feel ready, just lowering the knees back down. You can leave the toes curled as we come up into our modified camel. So hands to the lower back. Otherwise, coming into your full camel if you are feeling it tonight, coming down to the heels. Checking out the clouds. Awesome. Good. And then if you want to use the block here, I'm going to bring it onto the mat. We're going to use it for our extended child's pose. And all we do is, this is a nice release for the shoulders and the wrists. We're just going to let them hang over the edge of your block when you come down into your extended child's pose. So you just let the hands kind of rest at the wrists and fall off. And you probably feel an opening in the shoulders. Breathe into the lower back. Feel the back space filling with air. Beautiful. Awesome. So we'll come all the way back up. We'll come onto the block with our wrists. So just using this for a little bit of a support. And then we're going to step the right foot up beside it. Awesome. We'll come onto that thigh. So just resting onto the thigh, we'll draw the left arm over. And if you feel like you want to get a little deeper into this twist, bring that hand to the opposite knee and send the right fingertips back. Good. Coming back to the center, coming back to our block. And this time I'm just going to move the leg so it's off to the side. So I've got this opening now, and I'm just going to rock it back and forth. I'm going to rock it open and close using my hand to press that inner thigh, that hip back. Good. And then I'm going to let that leg come all the way back down to my yoga mat. And I'm going to draw the other one up and around. Use the block to help me get up onto that thigh, and then draw the right arm over. We'll carry it through. If you want to get into that twist, sending the left fingertips back this time. Good. Back forward, come onto your block as you take that little wider stance. And we can work through that inner thigh. Perfect. Bring the hands back down to the block so we can slide that leg back. Nice. We're going to come all the way up back to our camel. So get a little back bend here. Looking up to the sky. And then this time, instead of countering that back bend with our child's pose, we're going to counter it with a down dog. So send the arms or the fingers nice and wide, pinkies to the edge of your yoga mat. Curl the toes under, peel the hips up and back. Pedal it out if it feels good. Bending one knee, then the other. Awesome. Come into some stillness. Press through the fingertips. Press through the heels. Good. We're going to come into pigeon right away. So we're going to just lift the right foot. And then we're going to send the right knee up towards the wrists. Good. We're going to slide back. So here's another spot where you could use the block. You could shove it under the hip on that right hip. So pigeon can be tricky if you're super tight in your hips. So you might want to stay here in king pigeon. Like I said, you could use this block, or you could use the block to come onto forearms. If you're not ready to melt all the way down to your mat, if it feels good and you want to send the upper body all the way down, you can. If it feels horrible and you're like, I hate this pose, why is she making me do this? Then just come into child's pose or something that feels better. If you feel like you need this pose, but you're tight, think about sending your breath where you feel stuck. Good. And then so to come out of your pigeon, you're just coming back up onto the palms, curl the toes on the long leg, the extended leg, press up, release the right leg, come back to your down dog, pedal it out. And then we'll move into our pigeon on the other side. So when you're ready, just taking the left foot off your yoga mat, sliding that left knee all the way through. One side may feel better than the other. Uncurl the toes, slide down. Other stay in your king pigeon. Use your block to come down. Use your breath to where you need it. And then same thing, to get out of your pigeon, palms come back to the mat, curl the toes on the right foot this time, slide the left foot back to join the right, down dog. And what we'll do is we'll just walk our feet now right up to our hands. So we can come off the wrists for a second. So what I want you to do is just find your forward fold, bend the knees, belly can come right on top of our thighs. We can even flip the wrists so that the palms face up and we get a nice stretch for the hands and the forearms. We'll bring the hands to the thighs, pressing up halfway. Nice flat back if you can. Belly button pulls in again. And then forward fold. So knees bend, belly to thighs, release everything down. We can shake the head no. Nod the head yes. And then if your block is within reach, grab onto it as we slowly roll all the way up to standing. And take a minute here if you need to. Just regrounding ourselves. Letting that blood pressure catch up from our sitting to our standing. And we're gonna do triangle with the block. So one of our first classes we did triangle. We didn't have the blocks with us, but I had mentioned using them as an extension of your arm, okay? So we're gonna open up nice and wide, lengthwise on your mat, so you have a nice wide stance. There we go. We'll start on the right side. So take your block in your right hand and then point your right toes to the top of the mat on the right side. Awesome. Extend the arms up, so blocks reaching over the toes that are extended. Other foot is still facing forward. We're gonna hinge the hip, so just a little movement over the right side. Drop the block down, and just like that, we're able to come into our triangle. Now the block has 3 levels. I'm on the highest one right now. If you feel like that's too easy, you could come lower. You could come with it flat. Or you can come down all the way to the mat. Awesome. Grab your block if you set it down. We're gonna press through the feet, bring ourselves up, and then reverse triangle, sending the block all the way up to the sky. Good. And then release it down. Awesome. We're gonna switch the toes out. So right toes are gonna face forward, left toes are gonna point this time. We're gonna switch the block. Inhale the arms up over those left toes. Awesome. Hinging over the left side this time, tipping into your triangle. Trust your block. It's just like an extension of you. If you can take a peek up at the fingertips in the sky, go for it. If that throws you off, keep the gaze down to the floor. All right, pressing through the feet, we'll tip all the way back into our reverse triangle. Left hand comes up to the sky. Good, and then releasing that arm down. Awesome. All right, both toes facing forward this time. If anyone needs a drink, feel free to take a drink before we move on. I may too. All right, so we're gonna use the block again as an extension, and this time just bringing it forward into our forward fold. So again, we can use the block on 3 different levels. So play with it, see where you can come down to. Maybe the block isn't needed at all and you wanna bring the hands right down to the yoga mat. Your choice. And then from there, we're gonna let the left hand stay in the middle. So if it's on the block, in the middle of the block, and we're gonna peel the right hand up to the sky. Good. And then the right hand's gonna replace the left, and the left hand goes all the way up. Good. Both hands down. I'm gonna leave my block where it is now as I just walk both hands to the right foot or the right shin. Wherever you are is fine. Just getting a little side action going. And then walking both hands to the left side. And then back to the center. You can come back onto the block. Then we're gonna bend the knees, so we're kind of using our thighs to bring us back up into our huddle. And we'll roll the shoulders in one side, the other. And coming back to the center when you're ready, and coming back up to a wide-legged stance. Hands come in behind, interlace the fingers, draw those knuckles down, take the gaze up. Good. Release the fingertips. We can bring the feet back together. And we're gonna do a little brain yoga next. So it's just getting both sides of the brain working. So all we're gonna do is inhale the right arm, spreading the fingertips, reaching for the sky. Left hand shoots down, spreading the fingertips, reaching for the ground. And then let's start to make circles with the wrists. And then change directions. Good. Good. Let that right arm come down. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Left arm comes up, spread and reach. Right arm shoots down. Start to rotate. Changing directions. Good. And then release that, shake that out, and we'll come back down onto the ground. I'm trying to record for Anna because she's missed like so many classes. That's why I keep playing with the phone. Hi, Anna. Okay, come back onto your backs. And we'll let the left leg go long. We'll bring the right shin in, pointing the right knee to the right shoulder. We'll use the right hand to grab the outside of the right foot and see if we can peel that right foot up, leaving the knee bent. And if that's too much, just grab a pant leg or a shin, calf. Good. And then let nice and slowly that right leg float all the way down to the mat. And then bring the left shin in. Pull it in and point the left knee to the left shoulder. Use the left hand to grab the bottom of the left foot on the outside, or grab the pant leg or calf. Peel that foot up so the bottom of the foot faces the sky. And then nice and slowly let the right leg float all the way down to join the left. We're going to send the hands overhead, reaching the fingertips, pointing the toes, making the body as long as you can. And then wrapping yourself up into a ball as both knees come in, grabbing onto the shins. Maybe rocking from side to side on the lower back. Good. And then releasing your body into your mat. Coming into your final relaxation. Letting the feet fall open to the sides. Letting the fingers and the hands rest open. Letting the eyelids become heavy. And letting the back of the head sink into your mat and the ground beneath that. So when you're ready, you can bring your awareness back to your breath. Just following the rise and the fall of the belly. And you can bring your awareness back to the body by just wiggling fingers, toes. Maybe circling ankles and wrists. And then starting to stretch as the body's calling for you to stretch. Or maybe it's just telling you to roll onto one side for a few more still moments. Taking your time to bring yourself back. And then we'll bring our hands to our heart. And I say to you all, may you be happy, may you be healthy, and may you be whole. Namaste, everybody.